it just keeps getting better here at Peace Day Live 2021. I get to speak with somebody who is never short on energy or drive or purpose. It is the founder of Peace One Day, director of Peace Day Live, Jeremy Gilley. And Jeremy, I never get to talk to you, but today I get to talk to you. This is great.
Yeah, it's a real treat, Richard. Thank you so much for all your support of Peace One Day Live. Thank
so
you,
how are you feeling so far today? This is, right before one of these big events, and you've done them many times before. It's like giving birth. You watch the program, you're directing, you're talking to us as we go throughout the day. How's it gone so far? And what were you surprised by?
Well, listen, I think it's gone really well. I mean, it's, look, I'm really driven by three words, really, which I was going to mention later, but I'll mention them now. And that is, informing, inspiring, and engaging, Richard. Ultimately, that's what it's about. You've had some amazing conversations today, and so have others with incredible sort of thought leaders and experts within their field. We are in a very serious situation, and the decisions that we make in the coming months and years are going to be pivotal to how long humanity has in relation to its survival and its time on this planet. This is very, very serious conversations that we need to have. We need to get, we need to be informed, we need to be inspired, and we need to be engaged. And, look, I've been on the road 22 years, Richard. I've had the privilege of going to 133 countries and working with many of the men and women who have been on this show today, and all of their support is what, established a thought, which was, could we create a day of ceasefire and non-violence, a peace day with a fixed calendar date? And of course, in September 2001, led by Jeremy Greenstock and many other wonderful governments and all sorts of individuals at the United Nations, Ahmed Fauzi, etc., that day was unanimously adopted, and the world had a day of peace, a UN International Day of Peace with a fixed calendar date, the 21st of September. And then, Richard, what we wanted to do was prove that day could work. And again, with the tireless and incredible support of the United Nations, UNAMA, WHO, UNICEF, and many other agencies, NATO, ISAF, including the Taliban, of course, everybody observed the day in Afghanistan. And as a consequence of that ceasefire, 1.4 million children were vaccinated against polio in that first year that it was done. And that was a sort of a pivotal, interesting sort of phase two, right? I've looked at this whole thing in phases, Richard. Phase one was the creation of the day. Phase two, let's prove it can work in a complex place of the world. And phase three was the institutionalization of the day, like Mother's Day. On Mother's Day, we give our mums flowers. We're super sweet. We do lovely things. And that's about behavioral change. We don't really realize it, but that's behavioral change. Now, the behavioral change that happens on a day of peace, Richard, is amazing. It means a decrease of violence, less bullying in the schools, in the workplace, in the community, and on our homes, most importantly, as was discussed by incredible women like Patricia Scotland, earlier today. So, for me, the institutionalization of this day, i.e. lots of people observing it, means a decrease of violence, means that some, young person won't be bullied. And that is, incredibly important. I mean, imagine that, Richard. The more people we inform, inspire, and engage, the greater the decrease of violence that will happen today. That's amazing. And that's why after 22 years, I'm as passionate now as I ever was. And I'm delighted that we are celebrating 20 years of UN Resolution 55/282. We heard the wonderful words of Jeremy Greenstock, earlier today, the ambassador to the United Kingdom to the UN who put that resolution forward. So it's a very important year. I feel, humbled, honored, a bit tired, but I feel just privileged, mate. I mean, just privileged, Richard, to be doing this work and to be working with people like you. I mean, I just watched you, the way you just handled that incredible panel with Case and Katie and Fabian and others. I mean, and Marina. I mean, Richard, you're incredible, and your support of us is amazing, and I'm very honored that you work with us.
They might call me, both of us, maybe high mileage or with a lot of kilometers on the odometer. But I got to tell you, after watching what you've done over the years, you only have the good mileage, the good kilometer readings on your odometer. And part of that, ladies and gentlemen, you must watch how this man was born, Jeremy Gilley, to do this. And it's in his documentary. I watched it, was immediately inspired. I reached out to you, Jeremy, and you responded immediately, and you wanted to inspire me. And so it is here with those great inspirations that you give to people like me, right? Folks that are just walking every day. Hey, this is only one program. This is only one gathering you do a year. Tell me why these are important and what else you have for the rest of the year.
Okay, well, look, you're a storyteller, Richard. And obviously, so are we. I mean, and as I mentioned those words earlier, inform, inspire, engage. Look, Peace One Day was creating this event on Peace Day, trying to tell an awful lot of people, because awareness manifests action, and action decreases violence around this day of peace. So that's why it's really obvious that we want everyone to become involved in telling as many people as possible, so that there's 3 billion people active today, and therefore millions of people, and that's what it equates to, not involved in violence. Unbelievable. And then, obviously I had the good fortune of being connected with, through Ahmed Fauzi, the good fortune of being connected with the High Commissioner for Human Rights, and Michelle Bachelet and her incredible team.
Right.
And we now produce the content for the elimination of racial discrimination in association with the High Commissioner for Human Rights. And that's a massive honor. And we had a very successful year this year because of a team effort and extraordinary people from all over the world. So that's the 21st of March. You've got 21st September, 21st of March. That was kind of interesting. The equinox, solstice, all of these sorts of, very interesting numbers, the beginning and the end of season. So it seemed obvious that we should choose the 21st of June to do a show for climate action right in the middle of the year, the longest day of the year, the longest day for you to be able to make a difference in terms of picking up litter that Fabian spoke about, the 193 individuals on that Saturday morning that picked up litter with him. Interesting, that's 193 member states, I was thinking to myself. But anyway, so that, it's kind of very interesting. We had the 21st of March, we had the 21st of June, Climate Action Live, i.e. no climate action, no peace, right? I mean, no diversity, inclusion, equality, and justice, no peace. So, these things are, these 3 shows, elimination of racial discrimination, climate action, no climate action, no peace. Peace Day, peace and sustainability, the protection of each other in our homes, communities, schools, and places of work. And then finally, on 21st of December, Space Transformers, young people who are transforming the space around them, who really are the sort of the young heroes of today. There are many of them. Some of them are known and some of them aren't known. And we have a vision. I hope I can afford to do it. But to pull young people together from all over the world on the 21st of December, singers, actors, thought leaders, and young people who are just really making a difference, to hear their hopes and their fears and their dreams. And all of that content throughout the year, I genuinely hope and pray and think about every day that if that informs and inspires and empowers somebody to act, then I've done a good thing with my life in that year, right, Richard? I mean, and it doesn't matter whether it's one person or 1,000 people. It doesn't matter. It's just worth living for. You know what I mean?
I do, man.
I feel really honored that we've just got all of these experiences throughout the year now. Wow. It's just amazing, and I love it.
My mom would always tell me, because I put a lot of people to sleep when I'm giving speeches, present company, I hope excluded, but she would say, so long as you reach one person in the room, you've done your job. And so Jeremy Gilley, you have done your job times the millions. Thank you for all of these programs. And I have to ask you, because I was so inspired by your inspiration 2 decades ago, who inspired you back then? Remind us. And who inspires you today to do what you do?
Oh, well, look, my mom and my dad and my little girl, my family, my grandfather, my brothers. I mean, like, my family inspired me, right? But then meeting people like Ahmed Fauzi early on in the journey, a real mentor and a dear friend of mine, Mark Mature, who was, has been running large corporations around the world, having the good fortune of hanging out with him, Stuart Hooray, who is advising me right now. I mean, like, there's a lot of people who are around me that look after me, that, I have an idea and I share it with them. And we all need those people in our lives.
Help the folks that are here, Jeremy. How do we find people to inspire us? Quickly, give us your quick advice on that.
How do we
in this space?
Look around you. They're right next to you. You know what I mean? Just look around you. They're in the family. They're in the home. They're in the office. They're in the community. They're on TV. They've written books. People like yourself, right? I mean, there's all sorts of people who are going to, but you know who it is, And if you don't know it, keep searching for that light. Keep searching. When the darkness comes, life is all about finding the light, right? It's not about the good times. It's about the hard times, really. And it's what you do in those hard times that can be really tough. And for anyone who's going through a tough time, my heart goes out to you. But just keep searching for the light and finding the peace, and everything will be all right, But listen, before I go, I know I've only got a minute left, and I know that you're going to tell me that, Richard. So I'm going to just, if I may, thank a few people. Is that all right, Richard?
You've got to go, my friend. Yes, do it.
Okay. So I want to thank my family and my little girl for supporting and inspiring me to work hard every day. I want to thank, of course, Avon and Lipton and Trivium Packaging for making today possible. Richard, genuinely, these three companies didn't give me the fuel to do it, as well as raising credible awareness. It's just not going to happen. So I'm immensely grateful. And also, of course, to Twitter, our awareness partner. I want to thank all of the partners that you see on the end of every single film, incredible organizations at the very top of their game, the Office of the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, Pathfinders for Peaceful, Just and Inclusive Societies, UN Global Compact, SDG, Global Action Campaign, and the Peace Innovation Lab at Stanford. I want to thank Digitalis, Social 360, and Signal AI, who do all the measurements. Have a look in a week's time. We measure everything that went down today. AWS and Green Lemon Company. I want to thank Hudson Sandler, our global communications partner, for their amazing support. Thank you to everyone participating in the show, to the Peace One Day team for all of their hard work, and my co-producer, Jude Law. And of course, thank you to everybody who tuned in. I think that's my minute up, Richard.
Jeremy, with that list, I think you're doing okay. I think you are doing okay. Final words to you, my friend Jeremy. As my father would say, peace be with you.
And with you.